Hello my beautiful friends and happy new year. I hope you had a wonderful time over the holidays. Today I'm back and I wanted to sort of kick off the year on my channel with a sort of just talking about trends coming up in 2022. And I love doing these videos, but they can sometimes tend to be like a tiny bit on the negative side, so I will focus mostly on the trends that I am really excited to start wearing myself. When I talk about trends, I always say this, that personally I prefer having mostly in my wardrobe more timeless pieces, things that won't date next season. It's just very stressful trying to keep up with trends. It's obviously not sustainable and it's just not a great time with fashion in my opinion. I always prefer having like a very solid personal style as a foundation, and then you can sort of dip into a trend here and there where you want to, and that way you have fun with trends instead of feeling like you're victimized by them. And for the trends that I do add to my wardrobe, I tend to sort of pick things that I think will have a little bit more longevity and not something that is just like a micro trend for a couple of months, which we have been seeing now with social media, especially with TikTok, where you see even individual pieces just go viral and they're so popular, and then it just gets so saturated that people feel like it's over and it's dated. I never really buy into a trend thinking that I'm just going to wear this for a season and then toss it. It feels very, very wasteful to me. So I always try to pick things that might have more longevity, you never know, but things that preferably when they're not like the it thing anymore, it will still not be something you're embarrassed to wear out. It's not like that dated. And of course things that you feel like are still very true to your own personal style, so even if it's not in style anymore, you feel like this is me and I'm gonna keep wearing it. That is just my approach to trends. Apart from that, I really love seeing trends. I love seeing how fashion evolves, and I love especially when we go outside and I can see other people wearing things and just how they style it, their own expression of a trend through their own personal style. I just love seeing that. So I don't even really necessarily need to buy into a trend to really enjoy it. Obviously trends are incredibly personal as our own personal fashion style, so if I say I don't like something here and that is like your favorite trend, please know that mostly I tend to roast myself in these videos because I often end up actually purchasing things and wearing things that I said, this is ugly and I'm never gonna put it on my body, and then I do. If you love a trend that is not for me, I bet it's because you rock it and keep doing it. With that out of the way, I'm going to get into all the trends. Let me know what you think about these, what you think about just the trend picture in general. Let's get into the first thing, and that is something I'm super excited about, and that is platforms. Obviously the sort of chunky sneaker has been popular for a really long time. I just love this new sort of evolving of the chunky shoe into a platform. So I have already bought a pair of platform loafers, but you see a lot of like combat boots and sort of things that are very functional, and I love that they add like a little bit of height. If you don't want it to be like too intense, obviously you can just get the chunkier boot and a smaller platform. I feel like this is a very practical trend, bar it's sort of creating a lot of quite heavy shoes. Obviously I can't move on without mentioning the sort of platform heels we get here, and this is not like the platform stripper heel with the very skinny sort of stiletto heel. This has like the chunky heel on it as well, and I just think it's so cool. I feel like this chunky heel is just a lot more, it feels a lot more modern. The Versace heels were definitely like a thing, so I feel like we were seeing a lot of this kind of shape on the sandals and heels. Very excited. I love this trend. The next trend, and this is like super divisive, I'm just gonna say I'm not gonna wear this one whatsoever, and I feel like this is the one that a lot of people are talking about right now, and it is the low waist. And oh my gosh, does this look horrible on me. And I feel like people are so divided precisely because does this look good on you or not? I'm just having like flashbacks of feeling like my stomach never is flat enough in these, and like my legs always look just so incredibly short. I can't with these. I can't go back. But I'm not going to say it's like a bad trend, because I actually think it looks quite good on some people, and I know a lot of people just hate the high waist trend because it doesn't suit their body type. So I mean, it's great, finally they can have more options for wearing low waist jeans and skirts and trousers and everything. I definitely have things where I don't love this trend just aesthetically, but I think on some people this looks great. So I mean, go, but I'm going to stay so far away. This does not look good on me. Cue like 6 months in advance and I'm trying to pull it off anyways. Just wait and see. I'm sure I will. Moving on to a trend that has been living in my wardrobe since forever, and that is mini skirts. I feel like the midi skirts have kind of fallen a little bit out, and now it's either very maxi skirt, but definitely we've been seeing a ton of the mini skirts. I feel like sometimes they are going like just to the extremes, and you will see this on the runway where it's just taken to the max, where the not intended, because it's definitely taken to the very, very micro, and they're so incredibly small, and especially when it's paired with the sort of low waist, it's not for me. I feel like that just looks like a headband. I don't know, it looks very, very small. I think that is probably the picture I've seen the most of this very extreme trend, where it's a micro skirt, but you saw a lot of these more 60s inspired A-line mini skirts, and I'm so here for that. Obviously, if you think it's a little bit too much bare leg, I will definitely wear this with tights. I think it's a great skirt and you don't have to go like completely micro. I just love it. I think it's so cute, and in the A-line shape, I really don't feel like a mini skirt is too much. The next trend, and this one I am not going to wear, and that is the fringe trend. I love how many things you can do with fringe. Sometimes it's just essentially a long skirt giving a little bit of coverage, but the way it moves and like it just does something to an outfit, I think it's so cool. My favorite would be like the dresses that are basically just all fringe, but this is just so incredibly impractical to wear. I'm not going to wear it. I'm going to enjoy it for anyone else who puts it on and bothers with it, but it gets stuck in things. I've gotten caught in my own car door, and that is pretty much where I'm like, I'm drawing the line. I'm not doing this anymore. It's also just incredibly difficult to sort of clean, and it's kind of a little bit of a nightmare. I think if you're going to do this, a shorter fringe is probably the way to go. I have a dress that is like really sparkly and it has fringe about this long, and that is fine. I don't tend to get stuck in that, and it's not like getting in the way, and like, yeah, it's fine. That is probably the way I'm going to do it. I'm not like hugely into the jackets with fringe, but I think they look great on other people, so I'm going to watch from afar, but I'm not putting that on myself, like, no. Okay, another trend that I don't get this. Is this even a trend? Like, what is this? Why are we doing this? And it is the whale tail, the sort of built-in exposed thong. What is this? Why are we doing this? Is this sexy? Is this meant to be sexy? Like, I don't get it. I just don't understand. I know we're doing a lot of cutouts, and I will mention that later, but I think that is a much better way of doing exposed skin. I just don't get like the whole whale tail kind of thing, and especially it being like built into the garment. I'm so confused. Like, please enlighten me. Where do you wear this? How do you style this? I'm going to move on. I've made myself clear. We're going to get on to the next trend. So, bra tops. I'm in two minds, because I've been loving sort of bralettes and everything we've seen before, the completely, again, very, very micro bra tops. But if it looks like a sports bra, or even like a very soft knitted bralette that is supposed to look like a bra, I'm on board. But once it looks like you're just wearing underwear out, I don't know. So I will be wearing some of them, but definitely not all. They seem to, along with like most things here, it just seems to be less and less fabric and just more exposed skin, I guess, with the low rise, the cutouts and everything. And I feel like maybe the bra tops are just following along that trend, but I'm kind of like, I don't completely hate it, but I'm just going to keep wearing the bralettes I already wear. I'm probably not going to go to like the completely tiny levels. The next trend, and I am so excited for this, and that is, I've just sort of like called it Shinyyy, because we've just been seeing so much shine, and I feel like we've seen especially two things. It's a lot of sequin and a lot of metallics. I'm not wearing a ton of it for like day-to-day wear. I find it quite, sequin is often kind of a little bit uncomfortable to wear as well, and I just find it so much harder to style. So I'm a bit like nay on the sequin, but I love the metallics, and I love that metallics this time around are coming in like all the beautiful colors and not just like silver and gold. I love metallics, and I feel like it's a much easier thing to sort of pull off throughout everyday life than sequin, and you still have that like sparkle, and I just think it's so cool. I'm dreaming of like a really nice long metallic trench coat. Either way, I really love this trend, and if you don't want like a whole garment, I think like smaller accessories can be really great as well. Moving on to the next trend, and I feel like this kind of is also a little bit more in the dressy trend, which makes sense. We're sort of very sick of staying at home and wearing loungewear, but it is the sort of very extra voluminous puffy trend, and I love the look of this. Again, it's very over the top. I think that the iterations that are like almost like a puffy sleeve that just swallow the rest of the top and it's just like one big puffy top, I think it's so cool. I also love these really puffy skirts. I think it's just beautiful, and I feel like they're kind of very inconvenient for real life, just because it's even like they're so large, it's going to be difficult to even drive with this. I can't even imagine walking into public transportation with an outfit that you're going to need 2 seats for, and putting on a seatbelt, it's gonna like squish things, it's gonna wrinkle it, and for me I just see that. But I think it's beautiful to look at for a special event. Yes, it's great, and again, we have seen a lot of the puffy sleeves leading up to this year, and I think it's just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger every single year for the past few years, and now it's just at the point where it's really inconvenient. That is like the way I see it anyways. But I definitely feel like you can wear this trend in sort of the more toned down version as well, and that is probably what I am going to do. For the next trend, and I mentioned this before, I feel like it kind of goes with the whole vibe of having a lot of volume, and that is oversized. For me, it's especially the oversized blazers that I've really gotten a love for the past couple of seasons, and I am so excited to keep wearing them. I feel like they've been available, especially the past year. I've seen a lot of it, a lot more oversized. It's obviously not just blazers, you have like shirts and the trousers, and I'm seeing so much of like the Y2K low slung jeans or cargo trousers that are really wide. Just seeing a lot of volume on the whole. The next trend, I've already mentioned it, it is the cutouts, and I feel like it's been getting more and more popular again recently. It's like we're seeing some trends that are emerging and some that are really sort of just reaching their maximum potential, like the puffy sleeves and like the micro bra tops. But for the cutouts, they're also like quite intense this time around. For me, it's not, I'm going to enjoy this from afar. That is sort of my approach to this. I do love cutouts, but very sort of minimal. I love a cutout in the waist of a blazer, even like some nice cutouts around the waistband of a pair of trousers or jeans, some like really nice design detail around a high neck top. Beautiful. Definitely, if you have like a very basic dress or a very basic top, you can make it very not boring with some of these cutouts, and not necessarily because it's exposing so much skin, because it's not always. I just sometimes think it can go too far and look like it's a little bit messy and like it's taking away from other things on an item. I'm going to move on. I feel like I'm rambling. I love talking about trends though, so hopefully you do too. The next trend is the sort of, kind of want to call it like the tiny cardigan. Obviously in 2021 we saw the Jacquemus cardigan that was like held together like right here with a tiny, I don't even think it was a button, and it was very much about the exposed chest, sort of under boob, and then your stomach. And I feel like this goes well. I wanted to sort of talk about this close to the cutouts because I feel like some of these smaller cardigans, we've seen a lot more of like regular cardigans that are just great. They're very sort of feminine and they're not like these chunky large things. They're just like a piece that is great if you want to like cover up your shoulders over a dress or something. But I've seen a lot of them styled where they're kind of unbuttoned one or two or more buttons from the bottom, obviously, so you're having a little bit of that Jacquemus cardigan effect. Again, it's exposing that like stomach that I think we're just now all about with the low waist and everything. I wanted to also mention color. Obviously every season we see this like really strong color trend, at least we tend to do that, and this time around it's just so many brights. I see some sort of magazines saying, oh, it's now green, it's now orange, and overall it just seems to be this really strong trend towards very bright and kind of, I want to say, happy, bold colors. And it's not really my color palette for my wardrobe, not something I tend to wear a lot, so I'm not going to be buying a ton of these colors, but I really love looking at them and I can't wait to see more of that on the street. Obviously I really love all the fuchsia we've been seeing. I mean, I have a love for pink anyway, so I'm kind of justifying it that way. I think it is gorgeous, and for me, I'm probably going to incorporate these colors into more sort of my basic kind of pieces, because I feel like that might tone them down. So a pair of trousers that is very sort of wide, kind of something that might easily look a little bit boring, something that is tailored. I feel like that is making these sometimes slightly crazy colors a little bit more wearable, but again, not something like, I'm not going to turn my wardrobe upside down every single season for the new color. That makes absolutely no sense. I love the colors, I love seeing how it's kind of expressed, and that kind of leads me on to the next thing I want to talk about. Obviously a lot of these trends are very much the Y2K. They fall under that umbrella, like the low waist, especially with like some white jeans or cargo pants, or a lot of the like bearing skin and really bright colors, even a lot of butterfly tops. I really wish that I was nostalgic for this trend. It's obviously been kind of just increasing more and more over the past year, and I feel like we've seen a lot of it over the summer. It's just, I'm just not really, it's not my thing. For those who love it, I mean, great, you will have a ton of options. I'm definitely not going to buy into any of it because it's not my style, and that would be silly just to stay on trend. But fashion trends tend to really run in like 20-year cycles. We were absolutely on track to have that era come back. One thing that I wanted to mention, because I loved the Dior show, and I love the tendency of the slight 60s to come back, and I feel like it's being a little bit overshadowed by all the Y2K madness, but I am so obsessed. All the mod prints and the beautiful, obviously you have the mini A-line skirts, the beautiful silhouettes, and I love it. I think it is so fun. So I don't really have one specific trend for that. I just want to talk about it as a general like theme. I think it's very interesting to see how all the trends we get sort of work together, where they're kind of coming from, and sort of just how they're blending into each other. I think it's really interesting. So that is pretty much everything I wanted to talk about for these trends, but I really want to hear what you think about the trends for the upcoming year, and what are you really excited to wear? What do you kind of hate? And if you like this video, of course, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to see more videos on fashion and styling and lookbooks and all those fun things. That's all. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day and a great start to the new year. Bye!